Hey guys, how you doing? The delay on the stream already looks like it's pretty massive for some reason. But yeah, so back at grooming as always. We've just reached part 30, which is terrifying to be honest. I just checked the playlist on like a playtime calculator thing, and it's already at like 90 hours. The playlist for this, which is it's getting pretty intense. But yeah, so we're going to continue working on this. Obviously, as we get closer and closer to the final image, the things that are going to change are going to get smaller and smaller. We've still got quite a lot of work to do on the hairline, like a lot of these in the wrong place. You can see the shapes are all there. Hey Ian, how you doing? The shapes are all there, like this clump is there, it's at the right point, but it's going too far up. These clumps are in the right point, but just need to be broken up more. It's all kind of there, but needs so much more refining. We also need to change the parting up here. In terms of what I'm going to do, I'm going to primarily work on the eyebrows, I think, and the eyelashes, just because we kind of left them alone for quite a while now. So yeah, I'm going to work on those first. Then we can move on to some hairline work and the parting. I think the parting before hairline. And maybe I'm gonna move these like kind of face tracker jewelry things around just to get those to match. One thing that's gonna bug me to absolutely no end is the freckles that I painted, because obviously they're projected from the high res, which obviously like it will line up still, but like I would need to reproject these freckles every time if I want to line these up. So I'm just going to accept that they're not going to line up, and move on with my life from that. But yeah, so moving on. Guess we'll get started then, right? So let's get on the eyebrows. I also kind of want to do some lighting. It's really hard to figure out exactly what's going on. I think our main light is positioned almost correctly. I think it needs to be further to the right because the highlight on her head is around here. Her head is a lot less shiny than mine because I've not done spec work yet. But it looks like the highlight is around here approximately, which ours is here, so we just need to move that light a little bit further. And then obviously add a bounce light. What I'm struggling to figure out is if there's a bottom light as well, or if that's part of the same bounce light. Because this guy's glowing like mad, and he should be in shadow even if there was a light just to the side. So I'm going to have to kind of figure out what's going on with that. I think there is a bottom light. Sorry, a bottom light bounce card maybe. Annoyingly, we can't really tell much from the reflection of her eyes. We just see a vague shape. It seems like it's back there. Maybe she's in a white box, because like you can see kind of a flaw maybe, and with it being white, then obviously it would glow quite a lot. But yeah, I'm almost tempted just to throw a white box around her and render it and see how it looks. But yeah, anyway, I'm stalling. Let's move on. So eyebrows first, I guess. Let me just move my desk around. There we go. Yeah, how are you guys doing? So there's 3 of you at the moment, and obviously Ian's here. How are you doing? Everyone doing okay? Let's set that to not update automatically. Eyebrows. So, what do we need to check? Oh, shift. So I need to angle these a little bit more up, and then work on density primarily. So angle that up, and then mostly density. Also angle that up a little bit. Yeah, let's do that. So let's grab you. And then I'm pretty sure this is locked. Yeah, it is. Cool. Gonna rotate, oh, not like that. Cool. And then it was this section needs to be angled up as well. Again, nothing too drastic, but enough. There we go. So that's pretty much parallel to the ground. Yeah, no, that's about right. Alright, cool. So, density maps. Oh, what's the other eyebrow doing? Direction-wise, I think we're okay. I think it's primarily density that needs to change now. Reduce it a tiny bit in this area. What's going on with this? Yeah, reduce it a tiny bit in this area. And then that eyebrow is pretty much fine. Maybe reduce the clumping at the bottom of this as well. I don't want to spend like too long like getting hyper specific on this stuff, but I do want to kind of, you know, do something. I want to achieve something with this. So how about, how much density do we need to lose? I need to use a fair chunk. I think I'm going to paint black rather than reduce the density. I think that's a bit easier in this case. So that's black. I'm going to remove you because you're grabbing too much attention. Save. Oh, size pressure. There we go. I think that would be about right. Maybe let's remove him as well. I don't think there'll be much else in that area that needs getting removed. We need to add a tiny bit of density just here. And then we need to move that brown line up as well. So a little bit of density right here. So let's get whatever that value is. Let's approximate it. So that's almost exactly the right value. So let's just do that and smooth it in. Oh, I always forget that the smooth brush is way bigger because it's its own separate brush. Where is it? Blur. Cool. And then go back into painting black. I might joke to you. There we go. Save textures, save pretext. It might be enough, but I'm going to increase that slightly. Get some hairs in here, if we can. There we go, perfect. And then save that. I'm also going to alt save the scene. So that might be all we need in this region. I'm going to angle this up as well. So I think he's got more control than it kind of gives off. Cool. So what about the inside edge? Move these in and remove these top ones. Oh, anything else actually? Kind of increase the density there a little bit. Subtle though. I also need to reduce the density over here. Nope, fatal error. We're starting the stream well. Wonder what I did. I don't know what plugin it is, but there's one plugin that it's auto-loading that just takes it forever. I've got a feeling it's RenderMan, because on projects where I'm not using RenderMan, it's like pretty much instant. Let's just switch back to the UV editing workspace. Come on. Come on. It always generates the button at the start, which I don't need. Eyebrows. Right, so let's move on with you then. I think I'm going to need to make these guides a bit longer, aren't I? Yeah, I definitely need to make those guides a bit longer. So let's do that. Let's grab these ones and do that with them. Then these are going to have to scale up as well, which means you're going to have to probably... Oh no, you're fine. You'll definitely have to scale up. Cool. And then we just need to pull these back. Yeah, pull those back and get rid of them, basically. So, go into density map. Save textures. Cool, and we just need to bump the texture out a little bit here, so let's do that. There we go, that might be good enough. And then what was it we needed over here? We need just a little bit more density, like just off of this, the end of that little cross. So about here, we need a tiny bit more density there. Save textures. There we go. And then we need to kind of mess about with density in here, so let's just reduce it. Definitely the bottom and there. I think the whole region, to be honest, but let's just do something like that. Might be a little bit too low. That'll be starting to get pretty close now, I think. I want to give that a quick test. So let's go save textures, save the scene. Cool. And then I'm going to hide all the grooms but this one. Don't know why you're over there. So let's hide all the grooms bar the eyebrows and eyelashes. In fact, I'll keep peach fuzz as well. Once we've done all this stuff, I'll need to start blending them into the head a little bit. Although I'll need to consult the high ref on that. Cool, so. Ready to come. Then just do an IPR, I guess. Just render that region. That looks like it'll be a lot more accurate. We do need to test that against the full thing though. What have we done there? That's getting pretty close. It's not quite there. This super dense patch needs to be moved to the left a little bit. It's getting pretty close though. Need to definitely curl these a bit more as well. So let's end that. And just unhide all these. I don't like working in a scene with those hidden. So, Next-Gen, hide you for a second. Let's tilt these guys up. And then, it was the density that needs to change, didn't it? So it's a super dense patch, which we need to find a way to move. It's this bit right here. So I'm gonna paint that lower density again. Just here, and that is too low. Just here. No. There we go. That's pretty much dead on the same as what it is. There we go. Pull that back just a little bit. And I'm going to bump the density just here to kind of move that line along. There we go. Very subtly different, but that should move it, although I think a little bit higher density just here. Save touches. We may have gone too far. I think my width map's going to do a little bit of work here as well. In fact, yeah, let's check that out. So save this, save you, and let's check the width map. Okay. I mean, at least it was a paint map change, so that will get loaded. The tiny little guide tweak we did want. What could be crashing this right now? When was this saved? 4 minutes ago. Classic. Next-Gen. It's going to show the braid bun because it's the first groom. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to set the braid bun to have a lower preview percentage. So I don't have to generate the whole thing each time that I load a scene. So there's our bun. Let's go to, oh, we're already on it, of course. Let's just set this to 5%. It's much quicker now, and we can still see what it's doing. So eyebrows. So we're going to check what the map's looking like. I think that's still keeping our changes. Going to save the scene with that lower density, or lower preview density, I should say. That looks like it might be right because I can kind of see the mistakes in it. Okay, cool. So we wanted to check the width map, right? Yeah, so we just need to blur that a tiny bit. That's no big deal. Tools. Set you to blur. So let's just go like that. And save textures. And save ptex. There we go. Alright, so we've got that. Oh, we also need to remove these guys, didn't we? They'll be in the width map and the other maps too. So let's color pick or figure out what you are. That is almost dead on. I'm somewhat surprised. Right, so shift. Cool. And let's just paint you out too. Cool. Go and check the other side while I'm at it. That's going to thicken them all up, isn't it? Save these textures. Save that P-tex. I think that'll do. Let's give that a quick test. Although we don't need to. Let's check the other eyebrow. So there's a little bit less density here. Hey Akshat, how you doing? A little bit less density here and a little bit more density there. It's very subtle though. Yeah, I just need to reduce this. That is literally exactly where that line is. So, did you see the substance update? Yeah, I posted about it on Facebook. Pretty exciting. Save you. And then we need to increase the density just there. I think that will naturally fill in this darker spot that we need. So it's here that we need it. That won't fill in the darker spot that we need because the guides aren't going to play nice. So let's just do that. I'm going to blur this as well. There you go. Hey Chloe. How you doing? Pretty sure it's the first time you're on the stream, right? Right, I do want to test this now. So let's hide all our grooms. Bar the top three. Quite convenient that all the top three are the ones that I'd want to render this sort of stuff with. So let's go IPR render. Drag you down there. Oh. And we're going to need, I'm going to let it do 2 passes as always. Because that all important context thing that I go on about. Just let this do, I think 2 passes will be fine. So it's that the outside of this isn't too noisy. Cool, that'll do. Hey Prashant, how you doing, man? Long time no speak. How's Bang treating you at the moment? You doing well? We need to reduce the density there a little bit because I see a shadow that we shouldn't have. I think we need to push a few guides up. We need to increase density here as well as like a hollow point. Density there feels pretty good. Density over here feels a little bit too patchy. But it's getting closer and there's too much going on here. So, in fact, this whole area is still too dense. Oh, you left NPC? How long ago did you leave? I'm leaving as well, so don't worry. I think a lot of us are at the moment, to be honest. It's a shame. Yeah, so I definitely need to remove a little bit of density here and increase the density there just slightly, and then over here is still a bit of a mess. I'll focus on this side first, I think. Yeah, it's just too patchy. So let's go. Shall I just blur it? Like that? Because that will still keep the general feel of what we had, but obviously be less contrasty, which is kind of what we want in this case, right? Although I do need to slightly increase the density out here, I think. So I'm just going to put blob down and blur it to oblivion, blob down, blur it to oblivion, and that should do it. Save density. There we go. That will like help uniform it out a little bit. And we need density over here, I think it was. So again, blob down, blur, blob down, blur. The only reason I'm doing this rather than picking a value is just I want the softness of it. It's basically the same as like Bob Ross's painting with liquid white sometimes. The reason Bob Ross comes to mind is because I'm wearing a Bob Ross t-shirt, so it's kind of inescapable in my life right now. Then we need to remove just these hairs here, right? So let's save the texture, then save you. And then we're just going to paint you back a little bit. So let's set you to white. And blur that back in. I think width map should do the rest of the work. So save this texture. Yeah, I just need to pull this back just a tiny, tiny bit. Let's just paint black, blur. Black, blur, black, blur. This isn't overly effective, is it? Right, manual colors. Save textures. Save ptex. There we go. So I should get rid of that. No worries, Zach Chat. Thanks for popping by, though. Thanks for saying hello. IPR this. Just realised I saved the scene with grooms hidden. I'm bargaining with the devil right now. One thing that is pretty exciting from today, little development, is I've been chatting with the guys at Flip Normals. Pretty much planned out the introduction to grooming course that we were thinking of doing. I mentioned it like a month ago now, but we've kind of got a plan now that we both happy with doing. I just got to make one last kind of alteration to it, just to kind of add an additional video, and then gonna be able to start recording some stuff, which will be exciting. First time doing some video tutorials other than texturing XYZ, which weren't really video tutorials as much, were just me rambling through how to set something up. But to be fair, I wasn't paid to do those, so you know, kind of makes sense that they weren't too precise. Well, I was paid in texturing XYZ credits, which looking back, I'm just like, why did I do that? Can't pay rent with texture maps. Granted, it was my choice, so. I think this is getting pretty close. This wouldn't be good enough for work, but then for work we'd have super high-res references. Yeah, I'm gonna make a tutorial series for Flip Normals. I've known the guys. Well, I've known Henning specifically for quite a few years. So we thought it'd be fun to work together. So it's literally just a case of deciding on final details, and then I need to go and make a few models to groom on. Because obviously we can't use something that's like someone else's concept. I need to just go and model something. But yeah, looking forward to it. But I've known the guys for a while, so it's gonna be fun to do. This is getting pretty close. I think what I'll do, I'm going to quickly adjust this bit, because this bit's what's throwing me through a loop at the moment. I need to reduce the width, I think. What's the high res say? Maybe it is just density. I think it's density and width. Oh, the thick hairs are too thick. That's what it is. God fucking damn it. Okay, so what's my... there shouldn't be any variation though. I'll just show the other grooms and save my scene. I thought I had the width randomization on this, but apparently not. Any other VFX YouTube channels that you like? Not really. Don't watch much VFX stuff on YouTube. It's definitely the best time to be alive. 2020 disagrees with you, actually. It's definitely not the best time to be alive at the moment. Oh man. This year is a dumpster fire. Right, so it's not a width thing. I think it is just a density thing. Because I thought I had width randomization. So let's just paint you out, even you out, and save. And that's just gone and created these two directly next to each other. That's one of the issues with CG grooming, is in real life hairs are placed very uniformly. Like, surprisingly uniformly. And most... Action does it by default if you've got a density of 1, like a painted value of 1. I'm pretty sure, I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that's how that goes. So, like, if I want uniformity but a lower density, I don't think there's really any tools that can do that bar Houdini, because Houdini just relaxes points and it does it great. But, yeah. Rambling again. Cool, so let's work on the eyelashes for a bit. So, density is the first thing that needs to go. And then primarily guide work. I'm going to turn off the clumping for a second. Eyelashes. Modifiers, clumping. Yes, yeah, so density over here is too much. Density here is too little. So that's a mask issue. Because the density map, I'm pretty sure, is fairly uniform. Yeah, density is pretty uniform, so that's a mask issue. Basically, the thickness of it is too thick in some areas. So if I go through, you see how like the mask is thicker over here than it is here? That's going to cause issues because if the density is the same but the region where the hair is growing from is bigger, you're going to have more hairs in that area. Trial and error is the best way to learn, man. Absolute best way. There's no question. Like, for me, a tutorial will only take you so far. You just have to suffer. Like, there is no other way. Like, you have to learn things the hard way. At least for my personal learning, I always have to find things out the hard way. If I'm told something, I won't doubt it, but I won't take it in until I experience the fuckery. Which is obviously sometimes an issue. It's not ideal for pipeline sometimes. So obviously at work, I always try to take in everything that I'm told. But sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you have to really just experience something. Let's fix you. Cool. Save textures. Let's click that again because I'm convinced I missed that. That seems a bit more uniform. Still not quite right. I don't know what's going on there. Let's just do this instead. So let's go to the full thickness. So that is the thickness of the line. Let's just check that. Oh yeah, I'm still way off. Okay. So paint. I'm gonna paint black over here for a second. And I'm just gonna repaint a white line with one brush stroke. So let's show the topology. I'm just gonna follow that line. So we now know it's the same thickness as it goes around. And let's turn off wireframe unshaded. And save the mask again. Much better. And we're going to need to do the same on this side, aren't we? Let's check the density map over here. That's about right. So yeah, it's a width problem again probably. Although this looks less wrong. It is thicker than the other side, which is an issue. Maybe I just get really unlucky with the seeds. Let's try a different generator seed. Does the density itself have to go down? Let's consult. I think density itself has to go down a little bit. At least on the outside. Okay, so need to reduce the density over here as well. So I'll just paint these guys out. I'll do that in the density map though. Although it should already be painted out apparently, so maybe that's a width issue. Yep, definitely a width issue. So let's paint roughly half value there. I'm going to do the same over here, just going to paint the last few hairs to be thinner. So textures, so Pt.30. Don't you dare hide. May have to increase the resolution a little bit. Let's just do that on this side. Textures. Can we do a dynamic grooming Maya? What do you mean? Do a dynamic groom? Is it like physically can Maya do it, or do you want me to do one? Because if you want me to do one, no, not right now. Because that would massively interrupt the project, and it's also an area I'm not overly comfortable in. So, if you're just asking if Maya itself can do dynamic grooms, then yeah, it was the best at it for quite a long time within her. Arguably still pretty decent, but it's not as good as it used to be. So I think the density's clumpness needs to go up just a tiny bit. So let's go and generate again. Yeah, so let's go to 60, I guess. And this is going to be too dense. Actually, it might be alright. I'm shook. Hate that though. I don't know what causes it, but I hate it. It's just weird distance detecting, I think. Oh yeah, Maya can do dynamic. As long as, what you mean by dynamic groom, is it just like hair simulation? Because if so, yes, it's pretty good at, there's a system up here called NHair. If you go into effects, it's there, NHair. And this is really great. Make selected curves dynamic is fundamentally what you can do. There's lots of tutorials out there. I'm not going to make a tutorial on that sort of stuff because it is not my comfort zone, and I firmly believe people should never make a tutorial on something that's not in their comfort zone. Because if you're teaching people, why would you want to teach people stuff that you don't know for sure? It's why I've held off for so long on doing video tutorials, because I don't feel comfortable doing video tutorials if I don't know something quite well. Does it require using NHair system? Yeah, NHair system just is the way that you do hair dynamics. You wouldn't want to use cloth simulation. I don't think even good. Does cloth sim support curves? I don't think it does, but N-hair is the way. Hence the name, N-hair. Right, so how far off are we? That stuff's crazy. Is that coming from clumping? No. That's guides. Why? Let me just put a guide right there. Right, let's put a guide there, see what that does. Why are they... Oh, I know what that might be. You, god damn you. It's a roll. Too intense. Which means I can get rid of these guys. Cool, so let's check the general, that's too dense. Let's reduce density. So I think this should go down to like 0.5, maybe 0.6. Let's go 0.6, because I don't think it should go half, that's a bit much. In fact, no, half is what we see, no, that's 0.25. Yeah, about 0.6 should be fine. I'm just gonna go big brush, just do that. And then blur you. I've got an obsession with blurring today, but there we go. Select textures, save ptex. And obviously I'll have to do a pass on like makeup as well. That'll just be in texturing now. I'm not gonna do fancy shading where I blend in a different makeup shade. Like you can. If you want like glittery effects, I guess it's easier, but I personally want to just do makeup in textures, not proper look dev. Although if you want to do it in proper look dev, it would be technically quite an easy process. All you need to do is make a shader for the type of makeup you're doing. It's like a glittery eyeshadow or whatever it is you want to do. And then in Mari or Substance or Microsoft Paint, whatever you want, paint a map that defines where the makeup should go. That's normally referred to as an ISO map, ISO, which stands for isolate. If you do that, then you'll be able to basically just blend in the makeup shader or overlay the makeup shader, depending on what kind of effect you're going for. Personally, I just blend stuff in. I never like makeup to completely cover the skin below it, other than I guess eyeliner, but still. Let that go for a second. We'll have to see if we need to move the guides. I'm sure we will have to move the guides. I'm almost debating matching the clumps with guides, because then we can just do guide clumping and match it exactly, but at the same time it's not worth the effort. I mean, I've gone way higher detail on eyelash grooms before. I have, you know, there was one groom I did actually place eyelashes individually with guide curves. But that was only like a auxiliary groom type thing. Let this clean up for a second. It's going to take a little while to clean this up. Does anyone have any questions while I wait? In fact, actually, while you guys, if you've got any questions, type them up. I'm going to go get some water. Stay hydrated. The eyebrows are starting to look relatively convincing. I've only been away for like literally 30-40 seconds, but it's enough to kind of refresh your eyes sometimes. But they're not the focus right now. This is... So there's a noticeable gap here, but I think that's actually the height of the eyelashes. I feel like I should maybe turn off clumping for a second and just see purely what the guides are doing. Although it does look like there's a bold patch there. Yeah, they're all just going to the side. Alright, let's check out the guides for that. It's weird because they are curling up, they're just not curling up as much as the ones around them. So let's move the evil button and turn off lock length. Interesting to hear you're leaving NPC. Yeah, leaving NPC. Put in my notice. How long ago now? I put in my notice on Thursday, I think. So my last day at NPC will be on the 21st of August. Then yeah, moving into another studio. Quite excited. Kind of sad to leave, to be honest. But you know, like even if you enjoy somewhere, it's sometimes worth just moving on. So I really like the people at NPC. I'll really, really miss the people, like quite a lot. Obviously, I'm not going to go into details as to why I'm leaving, because that would break many an NDA and also be a bit of a dick move in general. And so I don't want to do that, but I have my reasons. And I'll leave that at that. Let's pull you. But yeah, definitely missed the people a lot. NPC kind of gave me my start. Also gave me some really good opportunities. Like, you know, I got to go to Bangalore to meet some amazing people there. I got to go to Canada to train up some people at a studio over there. Like, I've had some great experiences with them. Leaving with positive memories, that's for sure. Congrats on the new chapter. Thanks, man. So let's go channel box 0.8, and then I'm pretty sure this is 0.02. My eyes are really fucking with me right now. Turn on a bulb. 0.2. There we go. Don't know what it is, but like something about what I'm looking at right now is really messing with my eyes. Let's pull these guys out. Yeah, I miss you guys a lot. If you're ever near London, let me know. And obviously if I'm ever near India, I'll be letting you guys know immediately. But yeah. Something like that is kind of working. I realise what's fucking with my eyes is because all of the guides are the exact same colour and I'm really hyper focusing on them. So I've got a little expression that I can load, which for some reason is locked to the top. Like if I go to load an expression, it's automatically at the top, but that's not because I'm on guide color. If I go to anything and go load expression, it's on the top. I don't know if it's just because it's the newest one I've saved, but I find this a lot easier to work with. Basically, I'm pretty sure I wrote it in one of the previous streams. But if I just go into the guide color, it's just generating a random number for a random number between 0 and 1 for red, a random number between 0 and 0.5 for green, we'll get to why in a second, and a random number between 0 and 1 for blue. They've all got different seed values, so they're not identical, because otherwise we'd just get a monochrome image. And then all it's doing is just saying create a color with the random red, the random green, the random blue. The reason I've got it going to half the value in green is because if you select a curve, it goes green. So if I have it with a maximum value of green of 1, and I get really unlucky, and let's say there's a guide out there that gets 0 on red, 0 on blue, and then gets 1 on green, it's going to look like it's selected all the time. So I just chose to limit the maximum green value, and that makes it a lot easier. Right, what needs to change over here? So they need to go, all of these need to go taller. At least a little bit. Can we do that with, let's check. I don't know why these guys are so much shorter. Let's shorten you a little bit and increase the length of you a little bit. Same with you guys. Let's even all that out. And then I'm gonna have to really fix these. So Prashant, where is it you've gone now? Have you gone to another studio, or are you taking some time out? Also, I'm pretty sure I've still got a video on my phone from the Midnight Masquerade, because obviously, like, no one will know kind of this general story. So when I went to Bangalore, the timing was just perfect. Like, I went just the weekend before the Halloween party for Technicolor over in Bangalore, and so I got to go to that. And so, like, my first like actual weekend in Bangalore where I wasn't sleep deprived from a 11-hour flight. There was a big party that's all paid for and that sort of stuff. It was really cool. There's a surprising amount of people that wanted to dance with me, I think, just because of how badly I can dance. So that was pretty funny. Embarrassing in the moment, but hilarious looking back. Joined another studio. Nice, man. Congrats. I'm going to need to normalize that. There we go. Got a bit more control now. Let's pull you up. That colour's really fucking with me. My eyes are just super sensitive today. Not ideal. That's hideous. And there's no way that's what's actually there. So let's check. Is it noise? Yeah, it is. Okay, so do we have a map on that? What if I set this to 0.5? Do I paint on mask, or do I work in the actual painted magnitude? Technically I should add a mask, right? Or I can multiply by C length. Well, that's probably better. And then I'll have to obviously redo the actual noise values, but that's fine. Right, there we go, that's immediately helped. So let's turn percentage down. Somewhere like there. And then straight percentage back up. And increase you a bit. There we go. So now it's not broken at the bottom. It's a little bit dead looking though. Eyelashes are always something I've had difficulty with. Like they're a type of groom that has never quite clicked for me. I'm gonna paint these guys out of the density. Like eyebrows is something I can do quite easily. General head hair is something I can do, obviously depending on the hairstyle, with some amount of ease. But eyelashes are something that I always have to do quite a few passes on to get something. Like, every time. I haven't figured out like the magic like settings to get them working yet. Save that. Save you. Yeah, we had it's my fault, but we had way too much was it whiskey we were drinking? Or was it rum? I think it was rum. And that's entirely on me. I definitely I definitely tried to push us too far. Just give these a little bit more clearance at the bottom. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing well though, Prashant. Really glad you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying your new studio. Beer and whiskey. Yep, that's what it was. A lot of Cobra, and then there was like a fancy whiskey. These eyelashes need to be shorter on the bottom, I think. So, is it on both sides? Can't tell, the image is too low res. I'm going to assume it's mainly this side, because it just feels less balanced than the other side. Just scale those down a little bit and we should be fine. Right, so that'll be starting to get closer now. That clumping's going to give me many a problem though. What happens if I just replace this with guide clumping? And set percentage to 100, so I need to remember that it was 75. So 100% of hair's clumping is not correct, especially with eyelashes. But for the sake of seeing what it does, I'm going to render this. It's going to look horrible, but I want to see how the shapes read. So I just want to get an idea of what the clumping should look like. And I think knowing what my guides are doing will help with that. And while this goes, I'm going to nip to the toilet. So I'm going to mute my microphone. Uh-oh. No. Leave this doing its thing. Alright, I'm going to mute my microphone. Be back in a second, guys. There we go, I'm back. Enjoying the new studio, but missing you guys so much. I learn from you guys. Yeah, it's sad for everyone to be leaving, but well, I say everyone. Obviously, there's people still staying. This eyebrow is going to really bother me. So this section's not getting the right amount of hair, like at all. Alright, wrong one. There we go. Never mind. This section's getting just the right amount of hair. We just need to break it up a bit. I'm actually kind of digging the guide clumping for this, but it feels way too uniform. What do I do? What do I do? Let's reduce that percentage by down, and then add that noise back in. But let's keep it a bit more subtle. Let's not wreck everything with it. And let's change the stray seed. Ooh, that's a very long eyelash. Preserve length. Let's put this at like 50%. Why are you so broken? But that side looks so much better. Is the clumping different? Like fundamentally, is it different? No. What the fuck? Is it just me? Does this side look way, way worse? Despite the fact that in theory it's identical. Or do we just have less guides over there? Let's test that. I'm going to save the scene. And then delete you and save you over. So it's now no longer going to match ref, but in theory they should be identical now. Why does this side look worse? Is there a noise map? No? Cut map? No? I know that you're not changing. That does look different though. Oh, am I just getting really unlucky with this percentage thing? Wait, they're not following. They're still going off the old guides. You what? It's not updating the guides. Okay, let me try generating a new one. Okay, so why is guides not working? They're on the surface. They're not floating away from the head. Okay, so generate. And they're on the surface as well, so it's not anything like that. What? Okay, well I guess we're just gonna go with generated curves. Why is the density field lower? I have so many questions. Let's reduce the random amount. See if that helps. Oh, it's gonna be that density shit, isn't it? Where the mask is different on two sides. Let's get the mask sorted. Right, so let's pick. Oh, it's the same size still. Okay. So it is smaller on this side. Oh, bigger on this side, sorry. Like quite a bit bigger. So that was painted with the one brush, that's fine. This side is bigger as well, so let's go. Oh, apparently I'm already painting black. Alright, we're gonna paint the whole region? I guess so. Set you to there. And then I'm just gonna try to draw a line straight through the guides, so stop there. I'm gonna. The arch of my wrist doesn't like going left. It's easier just to do that. And that connection there is kind of janky, so let's just connect that up and paint black to even that back out. Cool. So they're in theory all the same now. Let's do. Oh, I actually need to extend it further, don't I? I need to go to like the next thing. Okay, so now without changing the brush size. which makes this a little bit more tedious, but worth it in the long run. So now let's just draw point to point. Some of those guides are way too... Oh wait, these aren't the right guides anymore, are they? Let's trace this line. I'm just going to follow topology. My wrist isn't really liking this angle either. This is why it's so important to have good topology sometimes. I would definitely need to fix that, that's awful. Bit jankier than the other side, but it works. And I guess the issue then was that the map, the clumping is too far away. So, oh, I need to put that back up so that I can save the texture and then use that to save the PTEX. I'll say use that. It's not using that at all. That's why it wasn't listening. Okay, so we just need to move these guides up, don't we? That's not what I wanted in the slightest. And let's look at the topology. So I just want to move these basically to this line. If you hold control with the add guides, you can just move a curve, which is something that Rima pointed out to me in her previous stream. So thank you to her for that. Cool. So let's I don't have anything to save actually. Turn that off, turn that off. And let's show these now. Right, so let's try regenerating that clump map now. Guide. Save. That's more like it. Okay, so that was our issue. This guide is still getting completely fucked out of all of its hairs. This is the problem, it doesn't go by closest point. Like, it really doesn't give a shit about closest point, which is really annoying. So let's try that now. Save, guide. There we go. Now he's been robbed. Why does it work like this? Okay, I'd rather that one get robbed. Let's go to like 75%. Approximately 75% of hairs clumping. It's closer. Right, so change our seed a little bit, and then let's add that noise back in. There we go. Feels a lot better. I just need to go in and paint some of these guys out. Gotta be honest, right now I'm going off what I want to see rather than what I actually see. Technically bad. I don't care right now. I just want to get these. We want to get these sorted. Oh, I should definitely load that back in. Save texture. There we go. Right, so let's do another test render. And if the eyelashes look okay, not a perfect match, but if they look okay, then I'm going to move on to the hairline, because the hairline's still a long way off. Well, it's not a long way off. It's recognizable, but I want more than recognizable. Just gotta let this do like 2 or 3 passes just so it's relatively clean-ish. Now I can put the other grooms to hide the chrome dome. Alright, let's give that a go. So this side over here needs a bit of work. I need to look at the high res, I think. So my density just needs to go way up now. It does, doesn't it? God fucking damn it. I was relying too much on a thick mask. Okay. Let's go in. Okay. So let's do our trick that I showed you guys last week. Flood to black, opacity to 0.5, which it never does. Flood paint. Save that texture, save a density. We've now got half the density. Double this value. We've now got our original density, but we can paint higher. So let's go. I need to color pick this in here actually, just to see how low the values are getting. It looks like it's still reasonable. Oh, it's 1.25. That's fine. So let's set this to about 0.5, which is taking it to what white could have been, but I'd rather have the range if I need it. So let's just do that. I guess now I've got the fixed width, then this is going to feel a lot better than it did before. Save textures, save view. Not fixed width, for the fixed width for the mask itself. That feels like it's going to be a little bit better. Alright, let's render this chrome dome. Beep, beep. Yeah, I think if I'm going to go down the route of using guide clumping, I need to make the guides a lot more interesting. gonna hyper focus this on just one eyelash. Well, not one eyelash, or one like lid. Come on. Literally this. Do I need more density? I think I do. Not a lot more, but definitely need more. So let's do that. Yeah, definitely more. Alright, let's go through and do that. This is why I wanted the range. I guess I'm getting just unlucky with the seed over here. So let's set this to 0.75. So this is a 50% increase over what it is at the moment. And let's just go bloop, bloop. Do the same on the other side. Cool. Save this up. That is too much. What is wrong with the mask on this side? Do I need to like artificially increase the mask a little bit? Because it's just getting really unlucky with the seeds. Let's try 3. Yeah, so now it's like super dense in that patch. So I want to give that a go now. IPR render. Sorry about the constant rendering, by the way, guys, but I kind of need to, like, because I'm not really getting the coverage in the viewport. What did I press? There we go. Hey Xavier, how you doing, man? Is it Xavier or like, am I pronouncing that correctly? That's a lot closer. There we go, finally got it. Okay, let's extend that just a little bit to get the whole eye. Yeah, it's looking a lot better now. Let's check the other eye. I just wasn't looking at Renderman though. Yeah, looks like it's starting to work. Alright, so I'm going to move on to the hairline. So let's check these two against each other. That is not the one I wanted. Generally speaking, hairline isn't too far off. The parting is the first thing that needs to change, and then the next thing that's standing out to me the most is this shape. It's taking up too much space. And then this shape is just completely wrong. Although I'm tempted to move these jewelry around quickly because it won't take long at all. Let's do that first. It really won't take that much time. So we're gonna need our ref cam. Cool, and then we're gonna need to. I guess the best way to do this is to isolate the jewelry and then move it in the 3D view to match. So let's do that. Jewelry group. And let's just get the face trackers, as I've called them, and the camera. Cool. So, view, camera tools. There we go. Do something like that. Now what we can do in this view is just move them and watch our other side. So I'm just going to save that. We can just match these up now. I'm pretty sure these were matched to the high res, which again just bothers me so much. Geolayer, I think. Perfect. So that's in the middle, and then it needs to rotate a little bit. And then I'm gonna match it to the skin rotation. Just do that. I think it needs to be a little bit bigger. Cool. Modify, free transformations. Perfect. You're next. In fact, no. Let's go lower first. What I'm worried about is displacement, pushing these in. So we'll have to do a little bit of back and forth with that. That is completely wrong. Does that mean my cheek shape is wrong? If that's not flat to the skin. I think we can get away with that, that's close enough. We need to angle it more like that though. And I'm going to push it out slightly. Because it would be sitting on like a blob of glue or some kind of thing to hold it in place. I don't think it's actual piercings, I think that would be a bit intense. Get that done there. Rotate you like that. Move it back up. And that rotation looks good to me. Next is you. You're just about in frame. That way. That way. And like that. Don't know how they're sitting there, to be honest. Let's do. He's actually really close. Not perfect though. This one just needs to be bigger. Other than that, it's matching pretty close. Let's do that as well. Why is he so much bigger than the others? That's huge. Anyway. Maybe that means the chin is not defined enough, like my chin should be bigger. So that is fine. Already pretty close. Way off. You're miles away. What else? Well, you're miles away. So the question is, does it go further back? I think it does. This is where having other angles would be so helpful, because these markers would have been an absolute godsend if we had multiple angles, because we could just match the positions of these and use them as like, okay, we know the skin is at exactly this point. But because I only have the one angle, I could, you know, I've got this, and this would suggest, oh, you need more volume here, but I could just move it back from the camera to like more like there. That's a lot closer now. Could go even further, more like there, even closer still. So I don't know if it's the camera angle, or the actual position of this thing, or the volume of the skull. And it's borderline impossible for me to tell. with just the one image that's quite low resolution. So let's check. You're a little bit off. There we go. Cool. That's that done. And what else? Hairline, I guess. So, can we see our guides? Next gen hairline. And what we're gonna need now is head hairline and camera. Yeah, so they're way off. They've got a ton of volume that they shouldn't have, which is an issue. I think it's all got too much volume. So I guess we start flattening it then. This is the painful bit. So I'm pretty sure, yeah. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I've got this set to not preserve length, which is what I want in this case. So you need to go like that, but then come down this way. I'm gonna rebuild these as well, I think. For now, that will do. Let's go to you. Need to be way flatter as well. Let's go for something like that. I'm gonna rebuild this now, actually. Rebuild, let's go to 12. There we go, much better. Sometimes having less control is exactly the kind of control you need. View, image plane, no, why am I going image plane? View, camera tools. Yeah, so these are going too high in general. So let's pull you down. Rebuild you. 12 again. That's too high in this one's case. Let's go to 8. Let's just have that pull up, and then we're going to want to match that with the ones around it. Rebuild 8. Big brush. Move it down. Then you need to change a lot. This just doing that is fine. Rebuild down to, let's say 6, because it's just doing one curve. That's better. Next thing is you. Don't know what you're doing. That should follow into this, which it kind of does, kind of doesn't. What about you? You should also follow into that. Okay. So that means my parting's in the wrong place. But that's fine. We can adjust that pretty quickly. And you're obviously wrong then. Completely so. Alright, so these 3 guides here need to be part of that red section. Cool. Have I just locked all my guides? There we go. So, I guess I'm going to turn on preserve length for this. Not length. I'm just going to follow these in. Need to flatten these quite a lot for that to work. So that's that one done. Then we need this one. Actually needs to dive quicker to the right. Why does that deselect it every time? Actually, I feel like these do need to be their own section still, like in terms of region map. Which is kind of confusing to me, but okay. Staring at bright pink guides isn't ideal, but I do need the region maps, so. And you need to be way flatter, I guess. So if we show guides with that, or show hair, sorry, with that. That feels better. Feels very tightly pulled now, which is, I guess, what we want. I feel like I need the other grooms for context. I'm just going to show all the grooms. Because once you've shown them, they're there. You don't have to keep recalculating them. I'll turn on a few lights. The London skyline looks really pretty tonight for some reason. I really can't figure out why. I think it's just because the sun's just about peeking up, so the glass buildings are reflecting it, but might be wrong on that. Yeah, so this definitely looks like it's too high, which is, I guess, a good thing, because that's what we've got to fix. So let's just move this camera. Camera tools, 2D pan. So how useless is this going to be? Completely useless. Okay, so it looks like it tucks behind it though. You can actually see the root of this, which is a terrible, terrible thing. Ah, so it's the... Ugh. Right, guys, it's going to regenerate every groom in the scene. Come on. Oh, we're going to need to move the hairline as well, aren't we? Let's pull some of these over that way. That can wait though. Let's do this bit first. So these need to dive down behind. At least I think they need to dive down behind. Something more like that. Just pull that tight. Add a little bit of a kink to it. And then You're next. This is the one where I'll need to consult the ref. Yeah, completely back and then tight. So grab you, pull you backwards and flat, and then tight to the side. Maybe turning off lock length now would be helpful. And that's way too many CVs. Let's rebuild that to 8, should be fine for that. Stuff like that. How well does that match? Needs to turn left sooner. It needs to turn left basically in line with this thing, doesn't it? Something like that. And then this needs obvious fixing as a result. Just pull it straight down and see what happens. And also rebuild you to 8. We can add more CVs later to get the root looking good, but we don't need that yet. Let's just do something like that. And for you, just pull you down. And also rebuild to 8. And pull you up slightly. And then all these guys now have like really horrible shapes. So let's go and make them a bit more interesting. So I'm gonna curve you, even if it's not accurate, I'm gonna curve you that way a bit to get that S shape. Let's just have it do something like that. Pull it down. Appeal is what I'm aiming for now. Aim you back, put you this way. Something like that is a lot better. And then you, I guess, should be pulled that way. And that's horrible looking. Oh, turn you off. A bit more interesting at least. Less horrible looking. Let's turn off the selectability of that layer. Do something like that to get some nice shapes going. Just get a bit of a curve. I think it's just so important to have that stuff. Like, I don't care if it's accurate, I want it to be appealing. Because first and foremost, I'm not gonna be good enough to match the portrait. Like, I'm just not. So the best thing I can do to compensate is to make an appealing image that almost matches the portrait. I'd rather do that than have something that tries to perfectly match and fails. Because that will always look awkward. Like every time, just look at Beowulf. Like, that shit's haunting. That seems a bit better. And then we need to move that parting around. So, it's gonna be a bit complex, isn't it? To do that. Well, actually, it's just there. And this line is going too far back. Oh, I can't just do that. I guess I can. I'm just doing it. I'd rather just do that and then fix the tips. So keep the root angle, but move the rest. God damn it. You spend all that time. The reason I didn't just go into CV mode and pull the guides from that view is because I'm not overly happy with how the guides look anyway. So I may as well kind of use it as a chance to redo them and see if I get anything different this time. Which I probably won't, but we'll see. So we need to keep this angle exactly as it is. I don't know why, but right now I'm really craving a bagel. Cool, that'll do. And then you, again, can't change you. That's illegal. That might feel a little bit better. And then I guess we need to get that straightened out. So now we've got too much of a parting in the middle. I remember now why I pulled them back together. So let's do this. So it's this line here, isn't it, that we need to get rid of? Yeah, so this green needs to be moved back. It's pretty much there, so let's put you there and fix the guide work as a result. Can't really see shit. We'll address that in a second. Let's get the parting map working first. So, region map, where are you at? God fucking damn it. Make sure that stylus pressure is off. Cool. And I need to set you to be light blue. And I'm just going to pull that pretty much straight like that. Once I've got to there, I also need to fix this red dot. That's going to cause issues. Or could have caused issues at some point if I got really unlucky with seed. And then let's just go into you. And that is now a straight parting, in theory, assuming nothing's broken, which something is probably broken. Save you. Let's just resave it from this one because we actually know that this one's saving at the right resolution. Yeah, that immediately changed stuff, okay. So then we just need to rebake our clumping. So what are you based on? You are guide positions, alright, so go guide. And then we just need to resave these ones as they are. So they know what area they're in now. There we go. And then we got clumping 3, which I'm going to update anyway. In theory, this one shouldn't really change at all, but well, it will have changed, but not much. Yeah, literally just at the front here. Well, we now got a straighter parting. Well, it actually lines up. No way, did that line up perfectly? Huh. Alright, cool. We got really lucky with that. It lines up pretty much perfectly. I am pleased. Right, so I want to do a test render with the slicker hair and see if it helps. I also want to fix this quickly. So you, I guess, slick you down. These purples are going to need to go down as well. Slick you down, just do that. Cool, and then we can just pull the rest down because now we've got room for them. Just grab these three. I'm gonna get a big boy brush and just go like that. Getting there. So let's do a test render from the front. Render cam. Cool. Let's do an IPR of that. Now I'm going to drag these two forward a bit. I'll put you there actually. I want to see how it looks in comparison to this one primarily. Let's go check. Charge my AirPods. I just start rendering. Perfect timing. Doesn't feel right. Oh, it's just a lack of samples. So let's do that, I guess. That's all the information we need, right? I just need to see how these two compare to each other. This is feeling a bit better. It's technically less accurate than it was, but feels better. And this needs pulling out a bit, doesn't it? Oh, and it needs still need to fix the guides over here. So let's put you there. Doesn't line up perfectly in the slightest. Why did it look like it did? Okay, well apparently we need to go like that way and then back. Okay, well, in a weird way it feels less realistic than it did before. But maybe that's because my eyes are struggling to get used to it. Right, so hairline still. Yeah, it does look super bendy in this view, so why didn't it look like that in the ref cam? Oh, it does. I just didn't notice. Okay, so let's go into show the guides, because that's going to be really helpful. This guide's going to have to move, so I'm going to do that preemptively by adding a guide right here. And that's close enough for it to be okay. So if I need to delete that guide, I can delete it. I'm also going to add a guide right here. And I'm going to fix him. I feel like this whole area is missing too many guides. And then let's just, because that parting is just a bit too wide, let's do the classic trick. Let's just doing that. Right, so let's get into actually moving the thing, shall we? Let me check a render cam, because it was more obvious from a render cam for some reason. Yeah, so this needs to move the whole thing like that way, which is frustrating. I'm almost thinking that's coming from the actual penetration of hair, though. But let's give it a pass. So we're gonna need purple. Oh, pink. Just do that. And I think it needs to go that way a little bit, so let's take red and do that. And then save that. And I think that might require me to resave you, the guides. Ooh, he's just about in. Alright, I'm happy with that. Modifiers, I'm going to create the new guide clump. Cool. Then fix this one. Getting there piece by piece. Right. Is that better? Something's going on here. Oh, that's what's going on there. There's too much hair dedicated to this guide. How bad was it? So it shouldn't be that much, should it? Let's go light blue again. Just pull that back over. I guess we need a guide in here, don't we? Right, okay, so we're gonna need a guide in there, so let's just add that anyway. And is that red? That is red. So let's fix his position. Go rebuild, 6 is probably fine for this guy. Cool. And then let's add a guide in here too. Are you green? No, you're red, so why are you pulling that way? And are you too fluid? There we go. Cool. So we've got more guides in the region now. We only need quite a few more guides at the back as well. But let's check if it's working first. I need to regen all those maps again. Guide. Save you. And then finally save you. Cool. So we're going to need to do a bit of work on these back sections, but let's just do a quick test render with that. See if that feels better. So let's go IPR. And, oh, primary's already in, perfect. Render, damn it. Oh, Franquino just liked the Facebook post for this, so he's going to be lurking somewhere now. Give it a second to do its thing. It's getting closer. That hole in the hair there is going to drive me mental. So let's test render that region specifically. Why is it? Looks objectively worse now. And it just feels like she's bald here now. But in this one it didn't. Is that just hair intersecting? It is, isn't it? I'm going to need to pull the roots out. So I'm pretty sure that's just hair intersecting. We do have more hair in the ground here. better. Less stuff being pulled into the head. And this area is now the problem. Hair's just parting a bit too perfectly, so I think again we're going to have to do that kind of hacky way around it where we just raise the roots of these guys. Something like that. And then I guess we're just going to need a guide in here as well, aren't we? Build. Let's go with 8. How close can we get to that line? Aha. Very close apparently. So let's view that. Feeling a bit better. Might add like a baby hair groom that just kind of goes in between all these sections and helps hide it. So the next section for me to work on, let me go into these guys, turn them off. Is it really doing that little? Guide. So this is doing that little. I feel like a lot of my issues are coming from this guy, which would make sense because this clumping is borderline impossible. But I need it that tight for these areas. And I'm pretty sure I need it that tight for those areas too. Let's reduce the effects of... Yeah, maybe... I need to reduce that last level of clumping here. It needs to just be dedicated to the areas where it's actually needed. Because that looks like... that looks fine without it. In some of those areas anyway. So let's repaint this mask. Well, not repaint, but let's reduce this mask. So... oh, you could be the issue too. How about I just smooth it? Oh, yeah, fuck you. Let's go to soft brush. Save textures, save Pt.30. That feels like it might be better. Alright, cool. So let's get into the guide work for this yellow section now, shall we? So this whole section needs a lot more work. Right, so how the fuck do I do this? Panel, ref cam, view, camera tools. There we go. So I'm going to need to solo hairline and ref cam. So we can immediately see how this isn't even slightly lining up. Like, not even close. So let's, oh, nope. Let's fix that, shall we? I'm gonna rebuild that. Let's go with 8. Cool, so we have that. How flat do you need to be to the skin? Oh, so it's not flatness, it's forward. That's pretty much flat. As we flatten this down, yeah, it just needs to come forward. Which that shape makes sense to me, so that could be perfectly possible. Needs relaxing a bit. That's a perfectly valid shape. Then I guess you're the next one. And you're not in the right place to begin with. You need to be like there. Cool. And then just sculpt you into place. So you need to like go straight down. This whole area needs to be super flat, so it's going to be a guide nightmare. I also need to rebuild that. Again, down to 8. It'd be nice if it just had a little number next to it, so you could hit rebuild and it would rebuild it to whatever that number is. That'd be a much nicer UI. This needs to... Oh, that needs to go up. That's weird. Okay, let's select you for a second. So you're going roughly the right way. You need to pull it into the middle of this thing. And so this second half of it needs to pull over, I guess. Which is quite strange. So I'm going to scrap a few of these guides. It's easier that way. I'm going to scrap that guide as well. Add them back in as we go. In fact, shall we just scrap all of them? No, let's not. So it needs to fold over there. Can't see much better than that. So let's grab it and just do what we saw, which is something like that. Which I guess could make sense. We're just gonna have to do a lot of guide work to force the shape to work. That could make sense. So stuff like that. Set a guide down here and have you follow the guide above you. We build, let's go with 5 for a second just to get it in place super quick. Thank you whoever liked the stream, by the way, it's appreciated. So we got that in place. So that looks plausible to me. I think you need to be even flatter though. I think it needs to be like something like that. Kind of scary. It's the amount of work that's going to take to force. Right, so then I guess we should go with you next. Let's rebuild you to 5. Already 10 past 10, Jesus. Cool, there's that. Then it's going to be on... I do need it to go tight, don't I? And what about those ones back there? Not as bad as I expected, actually. So then we need to fix you. Rebuild that again. Alright, so next bit, we need to force it to work. Let's delete that extra guide we just made. Get you and pick a side. I'm going to have it side with these guys. I may even need another region map within this to get that working. Cool, and then we can see that you follow these guys pretty well, so let's do that. Going slowly is really important for this. There's no way you can do this quickly. Absolutely no way. Well, unless you're like good at grooming. In which case you probably can go quickly, but I'm gonna take the time. It's good to me. Okay. Let's just have you do that. Just slide straight in. Place a guide there. Okay, let's give that a test. So we've got our normal maps, not normal maps, region maps, fine. So we need to regenerate our guide clumping. Don't know why they change position every time. Slightly alarming. Cool, so that's that done. Then we should regenerate you for the new guides. And then we should regenerate you. Is this updating correctly? That is updating. This hole right here is going to look horrible, I guarantee it. Let's force it out without adding any guides. Let's go with you. Sacrifice the accuracy just to hide that gap. Do something like that. There we go, it's a lot better. Run the cam. Cool. And after I've done this, I'm going to quickly have a go with the lighting. I don't think I'm going to get anything accurate, but I just want to do a quick pass and see if I can get that flatness. So I'll be back in 1 second. There we go. Let's get the older render below it just to compare. Let's not keep you though. A lot closer. That hole's gonna drive me mental, but it's a lot closer. This shape feels nicer overall. It's literally just these bald patches. Right, so let's kill that. And I'm gonna have a quick attempt at getting a bit closer to the lighting. So, what do we need primarily? Obviously we need to relight her left side. So I have a card set in the scene. So let's make that visible and see if that's enough to do like a good chunk of it. So if we just go into the render group, I've got a bounce card set there. There's a purely white shader on it. And let's see if that can get a bit more of that brightness in. It's not going to be enough on its own, but let's have a look. I think we're going to need a bounce card on the ground as well. Render, damn it. Maybe we should make the grooms invisible for this because they're irrelevant, aren't they? Technically, so is the skin shading. I'll give it a second. But no, I'm not. I'm gonna kill it. Because I'll be wasting so much time trying to light with hair and subsurface visible. So we'll worry about the subsurface in a second. What we'll do for now is hide all the grooms, turn off the subsurface on the skin, and kind of approximate lighting, like get the angles right. And once we got the angles right, we can set the strength based on the actual shaders. I just love if this will unlock. Oh, it's saving. There we go. So, gonna alt save. And what I'll do, I'll keep the eyebrows and eyelashes, but I'll hide everything else. Cool. And then let's go into the head. I should be able to go all the way over through all the textures for our groom. Cool. Pixel skin. I'll turn my diffuse gain to 1 and my subsurface gain to 0. I know I can use diffuse blend, but I want to grey shade. So I'm going to do that. And that should be considerably quicker now. Although I need a reference frame, don't I? Let's go get one. Is that the newest grey shade I've got? This is our reference image in terms of how bright it should be. Let's put that above there. This is our old lighting, and then this will be our new lighting. Obviously the model's changed a bit, but this was stream 14, so this is like half the series ago. So that bounce card either needs to be closer or brighter, and it can't be brighter. So let's kill that. IPR shouldn't take time. There we go. So what angle's the light coming from? Light comes from over there. Just going to here. Move it closer and rotate it that way slightly. I'm also going to rotate it up. And then that should be a bit brighter. If I can't get it with bounce cards, then I'll actually just place some rectangle lights and get exactly what I want that way. Let's compare these two as well. It's a lot brighter now. Those shadows are quite close. The eye shape's slightly wrong, isn't it? Just there. That needs to be changed. This ear I've given up on. I can't figure out this shape in my mind. Maybe this needs to be lower, maybe it needs to be further out. Don't know. Nostrils are wrong too. This is obviously going to feel a lot flatter now. But if it's more accurate, then that's what I need, isn't it? Actually, my main light may need to be higher, because I'm looking at the shadow on the neck. Although, looking at these guys, it's not too far. It needs to go further right. The reflection, anyway. Yeah, the main light needs to be twisted slightly. Why do I keep ending the render? Alright, I'm going to put Maya on my other screen so I can run IPR. So let me for a second just show all the grooms again. And alt save. Because I'm expecting this to crash, like wholeheartedly expecting this to crash. And let's just start an IPR. So RenderMan, IPR. And let this on the other screen just cook for a bit. Well, get started, not actually cook through. Right, I'm also going to limit Maya because this is asking for issues. Set affinity. This means slower render, but I'm fine with that. Right, so the main light needs to be turned. the other way. Wait, which way is it? That is the wrong way. Okay, so that feels a bit closer in terms of the main light position. So we can see a little bit of speck on her cheek now, which we're a little bit closer to matching, which we didn't have the same way before. I do also see that line there, which might be shadow, might not, but we are pretty close to matching it. So now the angle is, does it need to go like down or up? As in, does the light need to be further up or not? That's too flat for my taste. If all goes wrong, then I can just set it back to where it was. So I think rather than use a bounce card, I'm going to create a light. So let's just delete you. And go into RenderMan. Oh, it's in the shelf, isn't it? It's not in. And let's create a rectangle light. So I'm going to normalize the light intensity so it doesn't constantly change. Where are you? I think it's in advanced. Normalized, there we go. Super dark, that's fine. Exposure, let's go 4? No? 10? 9. Alright, so you need to be back here somewhere and aimed up slightly. I think this main light needs to go back to where it was. It's the lighting is so subtle in this, it's going to be really frustrating to get. So that was 137. So the eye is kind of helpful because it tells us where the light should be. So the main light does need to move a little bit. So which way does it need to go? It needs to go up. That would move it down, wouldn't it? too much. It's so sensitive. Alright, there we go. Still not right. So it needs to also go that way a little bit. And then still that way. And that light needs to be further this way. Oh. So you need to be zeroed back out. So you need to be moved further that way. Over this way. Why does it need to intersect with you? So it needs to barely reach into the pupil. So it needs to go further this way still. And then I guess the angle needs to not be like that. And then it would need to be bigger. So now it's a case of, do I angle it properly like that, but then make it wide, which is what I'm pretty sure it would be in her case. Obviously with it being normalized, that's going to get rid of the brightness, so I need to kind of mess about with that bit now. Let's go with 11 exposure. And let's kill this and render the whole image. And see if we ended up with the same we did before. We almost did. So I need to brighten up that side light. So let's put you to 12 exposure. 12 is maybe a bit much, let's check. You're getting the flatness though. Definitely too well lit. So it's an 11.5 exposure. It's a exponential scale, or logarithmic scale, or whatever scale. So the changes have to be pretty small. That ear shadow is concerning me, because it's not in the right place at all. And also the chin isn't lit well enough at all as well, so we need another light. Let's duplicate that light and move it down here. And this is going to be horrible, but we can live with it. So this one needs to be a lot more subtle. Not this giant thing, basically. Oh, by accident we've found this highlight. It's not bright enough, but it's closer. That's a good sign. Our golds are too orange at the moment. So the next thing we need to do is find this one and this one. Right, how are we going to do this? Let's bring it up. Oh, fuck's sake. So this is going to need to be dimmed way down because the shadows on the face are getting lost, which are so important. We're also losing this shadow in here. Which means the light on our side is too bright, which actually we can tell here as well. So this bottom light is way too bright. We can dim him down pretty easily. Let's take it to 10 exposure. And this light on the side, let's take that down to 10.5 exposure. We're getting some shadows back, but that's fine. So 10.5 exposure is too low. Let's go 11 exposure. It's such a subtle thing to get right. So something I really want to see is the teeth. They never shade right. They still don't shade right. Okay, how's the eye doing? The eye is like the best point of reference I've got because it's the closest thing to a chrome sphere I have. The eyeball texture itself needs to be brightened up a little bit, but that's something we can get to. Something I quite like about rendering the little regions on the eyes is this kind of proves how important eyes are to a character, because with the eyes being clean, the whole image feels super clean to me, even though this is just in like a mosaic. But with the eyes being clean, the whole image feels cleaner. It's super strange. Not entirely sure how that works, but so I'm gonna. The jewelry on this side needs to be a good reference for us, and it's currently not. And same as over here as well. So I'm gonna hide these for a second. And I'm gonna make a model. So let's just go plain. Do something like that. Assign a. We've got the bounce card material, right? Which is just a. Yeah. Just white. Obviously, this needs to be a lot lower. I wonder if she was set down or not. If she was sat down, then there would be a good height. Maybe there. Let's pull that forward. Okay. So then, this is probably going to go horribly wrong. I'm going to extrude this up. And let's just I realized I was double clicking to get edge loops when I really didn't need to. So you need to move back, right? Well, what if I bring it super close? What happens? See, the gold shader just could be just completely throwing off the whole image. What is Shift F a shortcut for? I was in the wrong viewport. Hey, Maya crashed. Okay. Right. Hopefully we've got some of that. If not, then that's fine. We've still made progress on the grooming and that sort of stuff, so I'll pick up the scene. Okay, so groom, and that was 26. Okay, so we've probably lost all the lighting. That's fine. It's such a subtle lighting shot. It's gonna be an absolute bitch to get right. So let's go back to my classic. Go into XGen. Okay. So what angle was that light at then? Is that like 142, I think? So 142. And then I don't know the other angles, so I'm gonna have to hide these again. And start an IPR. But actually, before I do that, plane. Standing system material, bounce card. Cool. So we've got that as a starting point. Let's save the scene. Cool. So let's start an IPR. Let's open that up. So I just need to reply to an email. Cool, there we go. I'm paying a friend to do some freelance for me, so they've sent me a kind of checkup thing for it. And what was I going to say? Oh, the word's gone. Yeah, I'm paying a friend to do some freelance for me, and they sent me like a kind of like a checkpoint type image. So just giving a quick note on that. Yeah, so we got this. Should I just change the gold shader right now? Shouldn't I? Alright, let's I'm just gonna put that on the other screen, put you there, and let's do a little bit of adjustment. So that has the bounce card mount, yeah? It does. So we can move these a bit further away now. It's a little bit too bright, which means it's probably a bit too close to her. Or it's too white. I'm gonna side with too close, because I don't think it should be set that close to a wall. Something like that would feel more accurate, and that height is a bit off as well, so let's, something like that feels a bit more accurate to the bounce should be getting from the room. And I think the earrings are going to have to fake a little bit. So let's save the scene. Okay, apparently saving the scene while rendering is a terrible idea, which makes sense. Okay, I can do this before the stream ends, surely. Go on. I mean, I can end the stream whenever I want, but still. Oh, it saved. Seriously? Did my grooms break? Looks like it's working. Just loading out a sequence for some reason. There we go. Yay, getting there. So, going to XGen. So, what I'm going to do this time is select the jewelry. And select this shader. Save the scene. And start an IPR. Once this kicks off, move the Maya screen, Maya onto the other screen. Quickly adjust the gold material. A little bit less orange. It's obviously not going to adjust the gold earrings, like the proper ones, but that's fine. I can adjust those a different time. I seem to be able to quickly compare these two. That could even be worth hiding the mesh in the hair, just so it updates quicker. It's less to render. So let's do that actually. Let's hide the head and hide the hair. The teeth are gonna be terrifying. Nope, Maya crashed again. Okay, well that's horrifying. I need to stop trusting Maya to not crash when doing stuff while rendering. It's entirely on me. Entirely on me in that one. I'm getting some Ubisoft vibes from this though. Okay, Maya Classic. Open the scene. Right. So hide you. God, the teeth in that song are gonna fuck me right up. Put something over screen and start an IPR. I dig the tongue and the gums. I really dig that. But that's not what this is about. This is about the jewelry. So let's get the face tracker. Let's go into the attribute editor. And let's put you there. So I need to make it obviously brighter. So, and also less orange. So let's go to you first and put you there. And then I think less saturation as well. Maybe even less saturation. That would mean this needs to be less saturated too. And a little bit brighter. Closer. And I think I'm gonna need a so this isn't accurate in the slightest, but I want to add a clear coat to get this super bright thing. So I'm going to clear coat. Cool. Alright, so roughness is going to be super low on that. Refraction index will have to be quite high, so let's say 2.4. It's a lot closer. Still don't have the glow. I'm not sure how we can get that. Well, the colours are much closer match now. I think the glow is just a case of having the light just be perfectly positioned. So how about we kill this render, and I bring this over. So I do that, and that means the latest color available is that color. And if I do that, there's our two colors. And then I've added refraction index 2.4 and a coat. So now we can go through the earrings. This is set to 6. You were set to this one. Then they'll reorder. So this one is the color value. Then you need to go up, and you need to go to about there. Oh, perfect. Cool. Hit B. Much the same. So I want to go with you, then you, set you to 0.6, set you there, and you there, I guess. Nope. There. Nope. Way off. 2.5. Cool. Hoop D. 6. Then it was you to you to you and to 2.5. And final is hoop C, which is this one. This is the last of the gold materials that's special in any way. So it was dull one, end one, then you, and then you. Cool. In theory, they should all now be working. Cool. Save that as an alt version. And then start a preview render, because that's me done for the day. Is this the project finished? Oh, hell no. The project is nowhere near done. Oh my god, they are really, really wrong. Alright, so that's a clear coat. Let me kill that. The project is nowhere near finished. Nowhere near. Need to kill the clear coat on those guys. Oh, that means I can't use the clear coat on the rest. It's too hacky. Let's grab you. Go all the way over to the material. Let's put diffuse on there. Well, not a diffuse, the subsurface on there. Do that. Subsurface. Do that. Go into the jewelry, and do that, 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 that. Save scene. Also, welcome back to the stream, Oscar. You have joined a little bit late. The stream will be ending pretty soon, to be honest. Yeah, I need to do in the next stream. I've got a choice of a few things. I want to work on continue to work on the hairline because it's bad. But I also need to do some texturing work for the reflection on the skin. It's not working well yet. Although the flatness of the lighting isn't going to help. Like, I feel like in dynamic lighting it should work quite well. Light on the bottom is too close, isn't it? Now it's too yellow. God fucking damn it. Alright, so let's reduce that bottom light a bit. Although maybe it's fine. No, I do think I need to reduce it. So let's grab you. Set you to be render cam. Drag you further down, something like that, and then let's just very quickly change the hoops to be just a little bit more orange. Cool. And then I just need to do that same color for the other hoops. It's now going to be too red, isn't it? There we go. Don't know why this guy's black and all the rest are regular shaded. Oh, wait, he's got wireframe on, the rest don't. Weird. Oh, that means he's on 2, doesn't it? I can fix that in a different time. Save as scene. I'll be going to bed soon next time. Have you applied texture XYZ to the skin yet? Oh, I applied that ages ago, yeah. I've had XYZ in my textures since like session 13, no, session 14. Yeah, session 14 had XYZ. So for the last 16 streams, we've had XYZ in there to some degree. Obviously, it's been improved here or there. You textured Amari, right? Or Substance? I textured Amari, yeah. I did do a test in Substance for one of the gold earrings. Ended up leaving it. But, yeah, textured Amari. Pretty much entirely. So the increased diffuse is too much on these guys. It's great on these. In fact, no, it doesn't. There's not enough contrast. Ugh. Okay. So let's put that diffuse back down to roughly 0.2, which is what it was. I might just go end up putting this back to exactly the way it was. So diffuse in metal shaders is technically a pure metal has no diffuse, like pure metal. But pure things don't exist. Like not a single pure material exists really, other than laboratories. But these earrings weren't made in a lab. So if I select face tracker, let's get the gold and set that to a lower value as well. So having a tiny bit of diffuse is okay, but the way diffuse affects metals is it basically removes contrast. Where you have diffuse, you can't have really dark reflections because the diffuse is going to brighten it up. So if you want to tell if you need more diffuse or not, one of the ways to tell is by looking for the deepest part of the shadow, which in this case is almost pure black, which I'm not going to be able to match because my scene isn't the same as the one she was shot in. But this is like way flatter, right? So earlier on, it had more contrast. If I go to, I'll go to the last stream. It had more contrast before rather than now. So that's just a case of having less diffuse. And then this one now should be, it's going to be even brighter for most of the stuff. But yeah, so it's even brighter in the reflection and darker in the diffuse now. So I haven't seen how to apply texture XYZ. Yeah, it should go back. Yeah, so it'll be in stream 14 that we did that. You're familiar with Mari? Yeah, I prefer Mari, generally speaking, over Substance. I really, really love Mari. So it's what I choose to use basically anytime I get the choice. Hard surface stuff, well, metals specifically, I quite like to use Substance just because the masks are so nice. But organic stuff, it's not a question for me. It's always Mari still. Even with the new update for Substance, like Mari is still going to dominate my work. It's just not going to dominate as much as it used to with the new UDIM support. This will be our end of stream render, by the way. I'm pretty happy with this for the most part. It's not perfect, but it's edging closer. Let's get you. Having that ground plane has helped a bit. Looking in the reflection of this guy, we can see that ground plane now. So now it's just a case of getting the wall in the right place. And we need to do another pass on the skin textures soon. The reds aren't red enough over here. The white isn't white enough here. The pink isn't pink enough here. There's quite a bit that he's doing. Granted, I really should check that against the high res, but I'm pretty sure the same applies. The pink isn't pink enough and all that jazz. So that's with quote-unquote correct lighting, which isn't correct in the slightest, but it's closer. Technically, it's not even lighting work that we did. We just rotated a HDR and then tweaked the fuck out of a ground placement. Yeah. Oh, I just so why do you prefer Mari? Because so historically the reason is because it had UDIM support and Substance didn't. So that caused me just to use Mari more often. And because I used it more often, I've grown to like it more. Now that Substance has Painter, now Substance Painter has UDIM support. In theory, I should just switch over to that because it's cheaper. It's still got UDIMs and all that sort of stuff. But I've just gotten used to how the brushes behave in Mari. I really like the paint buffer. It's got quite a lot of power. The node graph is incredibly important. Like having the node graph is really kind of a deal breaker for me. Like making sure it has the node graph even. But yeah, there's still what was I gonna say? It's still Mari's not perfect software. It's a bit cumbersome in quite a few places. It doesn't have like a lot of functions that Substance Painter does. Like a lot of functions at this point, but well, it has them, but nowhere near as user friendly. The baking stuff uses Modo. It's incredibly slow. Substance Painter's baking is some of the best I've ever used. Substance Painter is just easier to use, so you know, I feel like a lot of people will move that way. A lot of new people anyway. Industry won't switch on a dime, but yeah. I'm really happy that we're starting to get this in. I've got a feeling if we mess with the camera's exposure, we'd be able to get a bit more of that. Like that brightness. Maybe I have to reduce the the roughness, the reflection. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep letting this clean up for a while. Yeah, so the things we need to do in the next stream, need to fill this hole here because that's really hideous looking. Need to add a little bit more volume here, but that's fine. That's pretty easy to do. I'm primarily going to be working up here, I think. Just need to adjust a few volumes here or there, and this stuff here is going to be an absolute nightmare to get. But once I got it, I'll be super happy. The hairline's just going to be a bitch all around to get, I think. Well, I don't think. I know it's going to be a bitch to get. And then we just got texture painting. So I think in the next session, which will be on Thursday, I won't be able to stream on Saturday, I think. Because it's my friend Jesus. He's leaving London. And he leaves just like literally days after I get back from my time in Belfast, so we might not have time to meet up. So literally this weekend is the last weekend we have where we both know we'll be in the same continent, which is obviously a bit tricky. But yeah, so next Saturday I'm gonna kind of go see him and spend some time with those guys. So I'll be postponing a stream for that. Maybe on Sunday I'll be able to. Depends if I'm hungover or not. Well, depends how hungover I am. Jesus will probably want to ruin me. But yeah, so I won't be streaming on Saturday, but I will be streaming on Thursday. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow. I'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. I've got a little bit of freelance on still, but it's pretty much finished. I should be able to finish it pretty early tomorrow evening, maybe even before normal stream time. Although with the flip normals thing coming up, I'll obviously be starting on that pretty soon as well. I need to model some stuff to have something to groom, because obviously I can't use any pre-existing models that I've made, because then that would feel like I'm robbing, you know, people, because it's just live stream content but paid, which I don't want to do. I want to make sure it's a, you know, the paid tutorial is its own unique thing. So I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm going to try to write a script, which I never do, but I'm going to try to write a script to be at least somewhat unique, because there are quite a lot of action tutorials out there, but I do want to kind of provide something that isn't seen that often. So we'll see how that works, but yeah. So I'm going to be quite busy. Question? Yeah, sure, what's the question? I can't contract freelance work for like studios or anything, but I can do like you know, freelance on the side, as long as it's not like competition. Which obviously I'm not freelancing for DNEG, ILM or anything like that. I'm freelancing for very small indies. Well, technically I'm freelancing for an individual. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm in the clear on the contract on that. My 3ds Max file won't load anymore. Seems like it got corrupted. Do you know any sorcery to fix this? I don't use 3ds Max, so I can't help you there. If it's been corrupted, then I don't think there's a way to fix it. But you're best off speaking to people who know 3ds Max for that, because I don't know 3ds Max. The flatter lighting actually helps quite a lot. It's slowly starting to feel more photographic. Slowly. I've still got a lot of texturing to do. It's getting there though. I'm pretty happy with this overall. That bottom eyelid is really bothering me now, because I just noticed how far off it is. I still need to texture the caruncles as well. So much still to do. So I'll let this continue to render. Obviously I've gone 20 minutes over the stream time, but I'm not sure, it just won't open, gets stuck. Okie dokie. If it just gets stuck, I don't know how things work in 3ds Max. I straight up don't know, so I'm not going to pretend to know what will work. But in Maya, when I have this sort of problem, we have the outliner. Max probably has its own equivalent. What I like to do is I full screen the outliner, which you can do in Maya by doing this, setting this to panel and outliner, and then just full screening that, and then I open my file. That normally helps. It doesn't guarantee that it will work, but it normally helps. Just because it defers the loading or some shit like that. I don't know. It just allows things to be kind of spaced out. Why has the render cam got nothing in it? Anyway, I'm just gonna let this continue to render. What do you think in terms of texturing? So in terms of where I want to go from here, or just in general? If you're talking about this asset, I've got a few issues with it. Basically, the reds in the ear are nowhere near red enough. On this side, they're okay-ish, but the reds in this ear aren't good enough. They're just not saturated enough, not dark enough, which is resulting in a loss of depth. The white of the skin here is way too downplayed. So you see how, if we look at this image, you can see a line between the discoloration below her eye and the color of the skin on her cheek. You can see a line. It's actually quite clear. Whereas on mine, you can't see it at all. Even with refined renders, you can't see it. It should be there, but you can't see it at all. So I want to strengthen the discoloration below the eye, although that's pretty close, but the whiteness of the skin is off. It's not quite there yet. Once I've got the whiteness of the skin, I need to make the lips a bit more saturated. You see how mine are a lot more desaturated than hers? And I need to add some discoloration to the neck as well. I'm not sure what is shadow and what's not, but this stuff here, like, you know, your skin tone is never going to be perfectly even, especially like I've noticed a lot of like Caribbean kind of like mixed race skin, I guess. Seems to be more like, I need to research it, but it seems to be more likely to have like quite broad color variation. I don't know if it is a mixed race thing or if it's like, you know, just people I've seen personally, but they do tend to be more prone to having like more skin color variation in quite large patches. With her it's quite extreme, so she's got like a little like muzzle shape. Just here you can see like there's a very slight line just there, and so her cheeks basically is like a line on her cheeks that's like way whiter than the rest of her face, and that's completely missing from mine. It's really interesting. I find it kind of cool. It's one of those many things, like we were talking in a previous stream about the fact that FKA Twigs is like kind of strangely beautiful. It's really, I don't know, I failed to put words to it. It is interesting for sure. Yeah, the whites of the eyeballs as well. I haven't figured out what's going to get that yet. I think it's that mine are too desaturated. They need to be a little bit more orangey, pinky kind of tone. The caruncles are way off. Fixing that will help slightly because we'll get a little bit better like bounce light from it. But it'll be very subtle. We've also got these like areas in the bottom of the eye arch. They're too dark at the moment, although I don't know if that's down to lighting or texture color. That'd be worth checking the Mari, to be honest. The scalp will probably need to be desaturated a little bit, just because obviously, you know, I don't think she's ever shaved her head, so the skin on her head is going to be very slightly less like tanned from the sun. What is your lighting setup in the 3D scene? Almost the same as almost the same as I've always had. So I'm doing an IPR render right now, so I can't really turn the camera, I think. But basically, is this going to cancel it? Fuck. Okay, alright, so it's started now anyway. So I've got the dome light, which has the sun here, and I've got a bounce. I've modeled the floor and the wall that will bounce the light. That's the way I've lit it at the moment. So I'm going to let that cook again. That's the problem with doing an IPR. In fact, I'm going to end the IPR and start a preview render so I can still do shit without it breaking. Okay, preview render. It's alright, it only takes 35 minutes to finish a render at this resolution. And that was 17 minutes in when it finished. But yeah, so I'll leave a preview render going because then you can rotate the camera and it doesn't restart the render. Reflection highlights of the softbox are quite noticeable. Yeah, I mean, I guess you'd be a perfect person to ask for this stuff because you do quite a lot of photography, right? Or is it you're on a photography course? I can't remember. We were talking about it when we first kind of met on the stream, right? Like, you do know quite a lot about photography. I know that for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna end the stream pretty soon. So how is it you think it's lit then, Oscar? Like, what do you think I'd be missing? Pretty sure I'm going to end the stream now, because I'm literally just waiting on a render, and chat seems to be going quiet again. So yeah, I'll be streaming again on Thursday, and as I said earlier, I won't be able to stream on Saturday, just because I'm going to be saying kind of goodbye to Jesus. So yeah, I will be doing a replacement stream though, so maybe I'll stream either tomorrow or Friday to make up for the loss on Saturday, and then maybe Monday night, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Probably Monday night, to be honest. That'd be a bit easier. But yeah, I hope you guys have learned something or something. Learned something or something. Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream and that sort of stuff. Really absent today. Like mentally, I'm not here. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your night, guys, and hopefully see you on future streams. Bye, guys.